Hey guys, today I'm making lamb meatballs and gluten-free tabbouli salad. What makes it gluten-free is I make it with quinoa. It's gonna be super easy, delicious, fresh, flavorful, and healthy. So keep watching and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to cook the quinoa now. This is the quinoa that I have. I get it from Whole Foods, from the bulk section. I like to get it from there because it's cheaper that way instead of getting the packaged ones. So I need 1 cup. I'm gonna take a cup of quinoa and rinse it first to get rid of any bitter flavor. So here's my quinoa. I'm just going to rinse it under cold water. So I added the rinsed quinoa to the pot and I added the water as well. So it's 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of water and a teaspoon of salt. So you turn on the stove. You're going to cover it so that the water can boil. And then once it's boiling, then you put it on low, super low, and let that simmer until all of the water evaporates. Just a quick tip about the quinoa. If you want a more flavorful quinoa, if you're eating it alone, for example, boil it in broth instead of water, or boil it in water and then add a bouillon cube. It gives it a better flavor. But if you're watching your sodium or your low sodium diet or something like that, then water is the better option. All right, as you see, the water's boiling, so I'm gonna keep that covered, but I'm going to turn this all the way down, and it's a very low simmer. Keep it covered and wait about 10 minutes to open it up. By that time, the water should have evaporated. While the quinoa is cooking, I'm going to get started on the meatballs. So these are lamb meatballs, so I got ground lamb from Whole Foods. So here's the lamb. Then you need 1 egg. Depending on the recipe, sometimes they say half an onion, sometimes a whole onion. This is a small onion, so I'm just going to chop up the whole thing. Then you need some garlic, some oregano, salt, pepper, paprika, some panko breadcrumbs, some parsley, and some fresh mint as well. All right, look at this quinoa. So I just took the cover off, and then you can take a fork and fluff it like this. There's no liquid left, but the quinoa is nice and fluffy. So I'm going to turn this off right now. Take it off of here so it doesn't cook. Do not cover it because it will continue to cook. So just move it around just to get some air, but this is perfect. So I chopped up the onion, and my little tip or trick is to saute the onion before adding it to the mixture for the meatballs. So it doesn't matter what meatballs I'm making, lamb meatballs, beef meatballs, turkey meatballs, whatever it is. I like to saute the onion because I hate biting into a meatball and then getting a raw piece of onion. It's just gross to me. So I always like to saute it a little bit. So the onions are sauteing. What I'm going to do right before they're about to be done is add the garlic as well. I'm going to squeeze the garlic in there for the last 30 seconds or so before I take this off of the fire. Okay, I added the garlic. Just mix this around for 20 to 30 seconds and then remove it. I don't want it to burn. So I have a bowl. I added the onions and the garlic to the bowl. Then I'm going to start adding all of the other ingredients to this as well. But you have to let this cool a little bit, because if you add the egg to this hot onion garlic mixture, your egg is going to cook, and we don't want that. Same thing with the meat. It's going to cook a little bit, and it's going to ruin the recipe. So let this cool. While I'm letting it cool, I'm going to chop up the herbs. So put this aside. So I added the rest of the ingredients to the bowl with the seasonings, with the herbs, the meat. Now I'm just going to mix it all up, and then I'm going to make small meatballs out of the mixture. Preheat the oven to 425 for the meatballs. So I made the meatballs. It came out to 19 small meatballs. I guess if I did better with the sizing of each one, I could have gotten 20, but oh well. I'm going to put that into the oven for 20 minutes, and you're gonna flip them halfway through. So after 10 minutes, open the oven, flip them, put them back in, and then we're gonna broil for a few minutes afterwards to make them super crispy. And while the meatballs are baking, I'm going to make the quinoa tabouli salad. So you need some cherry tomatoes and Persian cucumbers, a red onion, parsley and mint, salt and pepper, and then for the dressing you need olive oil and lemon juice. And then I also will add the quinoa that I already have cooked. So the way I like to chop up all the vegetables for this tabouli are in these small little bite-sized pieces. So what I do is I take this Persian cucumber, I cut off the ends. These are the ends. I'm going to get rid of that. Then I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again in quarters. And then I just cut it lengthwise like this, and it becomes like a small bite-sized piece like that. Also, if you don't know what a Persian cucumber is, it's these small mini cucumbers. They're awesome, they're seedless, and I like them much better than any other cucumber that you may buy at the grocery store. Okay, so I cut up all of the vegetables and the herbs, and I added the salt and pepper, and I'm mixing it up now. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit before I add the quinoa, because the quinoa, once you add it, it's going to soak up some of the olive oil and lemon juice, and I really want the vegetables to get that flavor from the olive oil and the lemon juice. So I'm going to wait for that, wait until the meatballs are done, and then right before I am ready to serve, I will add the quinoa and mix it up one more time. So the meatballs cooked for 20 minutes, 10 minutes on each side. Now I put the broiler on for 2 minutes. I want them a little crispy. When I flipped the meatballs, I added the quinoa to the salad so that it had time to also marinate a little bit. But I just tasted it and it's amazing. I would suggest tasting it before serving, because if you need a little bit more salt or pepper, lemon juice, anything like that, you can add that now. But mine came out perfect, so I can't wait to eat. Broiling in process. Oh my gosh, these came out so good and they smell incredible. You guys, this salad is so good. Like this giant bowl, look at my hand, this giant bowl is filled with this tabouli, and I'm so happy because I'll be able to eat this all throughout the week. And it's super healthy for you too. So I'm really excited for this. I wanted to tell you that I also am going to put some hummus on the side. This is just the roasted red pepper hummus from Sabra. It's actually not the brand that I usually buy, but it is what it is. And the person that makes the best hummus in the world is actually Jack, and we don't have any chickpeas, and he wasn't able to make any. So unfortunately, I can't have homemade hummus, but this will do. You guys, look at this. I'm so excited. I want to take a bite right now, but I just wanted to tell you what my plan is to cut up the meatballs, dip it in the hummus, and then scoop up a little bit of the tabouli in one bite. It's gonna be so good.